That button.
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent. Okay. Right. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening, you all right?
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is one of several we're trying to put together. So it's just so you're aware, um, we thought about it during COVID to try and
Yeah.
keep everyone in the loop, but didn't really get round to the chance of doing it. We've actually put out for our followers to decide what the title of the um, chats are going to be.
Yeah.
And they've decided after the buzzer. So it looks like these are all
Nice.
called after the buzzer. So welcome to the first after the buzzer, Jack.
Thank you.
And thank you for finding the time to join us. So
Not a problem.
basically, just a little chat with yourself about your journey in basketball,
Yeah.
and where you've reached at the moment. And I'm not saying obviously this is the pinnacle, but you've gone a long way in a very short time, from what I've seen. So you obviously started off in the Somerset League, is that right? Where you started playing?
Yeah, so started off playing, well, as a junior at the age of like 10 or 11.
Hmm.
A lot of people do. Started off playing for Tornadoes juniors. So Taunton Tornadoes, moved into Tigers, did junior national league as a lot of people do. So yeah, started off at Tornadoes basically. And then yeah, made my way through there, played junior national league, as I said, for Tigers, through all age groups. Represented the Southwest, what it was at the time, ran by Paul Christian,
Hmm.
at 13s and 15s. And yeah, that was kind of my basketball journey. And then ended up playing men's local league in the Somerset League for Tornadoes, and then eventually bringing them into the Exeter League with you guys.
Yeah. And so when did you start? Because you've gone obviously off on your
Mhm.
sideways route, should we say,
Yeah,
the coaching route, which you're
yeah, yeah.
obviously excelling at. So how did that all start?
So it started just one of those things. I was a player for Tornadoes, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to come in a bit earlier and help out with the younger ones?" And I was like, "Yeah, not a problem. Like, I'm happy to," because my younger brother was playing. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there anyway. So I might as well give a hand where I can,"
Yeah.
and just kind of went from there, really. And then while I was at Tigers, think probably my first year of under 18s, so like the age of like 17, 18. Gary asked if I wanted to coach a younger age group, which I did, and assisted Francis Scarborough with the under 12s, I think it was at the time.
Right.
Um, and then ended up getting the 14s after that and kind of just went from there and ended up enjoying it. Did a coaching degree, I guess, at, at Hewish, but through Plymouth Marjon.
Right. Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
technically a Plymouth Marjon degree, but ran at Hewish. So did that while coaching and kind of just got the bug for it and wanted to go further and further with it. And yeah, different reasons for starting to some I guess, but yeah.
And you did about 5 years at Richard Hewish, wasn't it? In the end,
Uh, yeah, I did.
probably officially.
Well, I did 4 years of studying at Hewish, 2 years of sixth form, and then 2 years of a foundation degree. But was yeah, probably about 5, 6 years. Yeah,
And and how did you end up, if you don't mind me asking, with
that's all
the
right.
Welsh under 19s, was it, men's?
Yeah,
How did you end up over there?
so that was yeah, so that was a it was a random one. So I was really lucky that the guy that was head coach in the team, a guy called Nick O'Leary, who has done loads. His CV's insane, academics as well as basketball stuff. He came and did a coaching course at Hewish
Right.
when I was there, and came and just did a lecture for an hour and a half. And I gave a quite a good answer at one of those things. And he went, "Oh, me and you will be coaching together one day." And then 4 years later, I had a random call from him, and he basically offered me the job because somebody put my name forward and said that I'd be good for it. So yeah, just a bit of a one out of the blue.
And was that so? Did you go on your travels with the under 19s, or was it
We did,
just
yeah. We
home?
were lucky. We were lucky enough. So yeah, I was with them for 3 years, the under 19s assisting. We were pretty successful as Welsh teams go. With
They're normally quite strong, to be fair, aren't they? Welsh sides.
well, yeah, we're always the underdogs in the Four Nations.
Hmm.
So kind of the pinnacle for those guys is they play a Four Nations tournament around this kind of time every year. So I'm actually going up to the one on Sunday, just as a spectator this time. But so yeah, we did pretty well. Where you obviously play against England, Ireland, and Scotland, and yeah, in the 3 years we managed to organise 3 trips. My first year we went for a week to Iceland to Reykjavik.
Right.
We then went to Luxembourg the year after, and then the year after went to Budapest. So yeah, three nice experiences for me, but also for the guys, just to see a different level of basketball, a different culture of basketball. Played some national teams, so like Luxembourg, for example, a smaller nation. We played them, but in Hungary and Iceland played a lot of club teams. But yeah, great experiences, great times.
I was going to say, because I would imagine those sides are quite strong going over
Yes.
to.
Yes, very strong. Like if you go over to somewhere like Luxembourg and it takes an hour to drive from one side of the country to the other, and they still are very strong.
And
Um,
probably the facilities are damn sight better as well, because that's
well,
one
yeah,
thing
that
we
one.
tend to struggle with over here.
Yeah, definitely. There's facilities everywhere we went was amazing. They were like, oh yeah, you can use this whenever you want, and it was just a four-court facility, and it was like, oh yeah, no, great, thanks guys. So yeah,
So great experience, obviously, with the Welsh
Mhm,
team.
definitely.
Um, and you did a few camps, didn't you? Euro camp, Red Star
Yeah,
camp,
still
and
doing some, yeah.
yeah, and
So yeah, I did Red Star Camp for 3 years, I think 2, 3 years.
Mhm.
My first year was as an intern, so Gary took me along, and actually Matt Newby, who's quite a well-known name in British basketball, coached in the BBL and the women's BBL most recently with Newcastle. He was actually the person that put me forward for the Wales gig.
Right.
So one of those things that just right place at the right time and made a good impression for someone. And yeah, now I've moved to Euro camps. So doing those. So again, I've done 2 years, third year this year. And that was through Nick, who was my head coach at Wales. So he's one of the main people at Eurocamp. So he brought me on board.
You say right place at the right time. You still got to have the quality though as well to go with it, Jack. You just can't rock up at these things, obviously.
Well, no, you can't just rock up, but I think a lot of it is being there, being I don't
Being
want to say right,
seen
being
and
seen, but doing the things that you need to do and whatever it is, just going, yeah, I'll do it, not a problem, and just being there. And I think that's part of it, to be honest.
and bringing it, if you like, almost right up to date. Red
Mhm.
Rockets.
Yes. Yeah.
That's see, to me that was a huge jump from when I knew you. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it was a huge jump, but just in my
Mhm.
own head, it was like you're in a completely different field now, completely different
Yeah.
division.
Yeah. So it was, again, one of those things that just kind of fell into place at the right time. I messaged someone that I knew, because as silly as it may sound, like my first year of coaching for Wales, I didn't even really know that you could be a full-time coach in this country. And the other assistant coach kind of opened my eyes to that.
Right,
So from then I was kind of thinking about it, going, "Oh, that could be fun. This could give that a go." Um, so yeah, I messaged Charlie Haynes, who I knew Reading, who's from Plymouth and went to Exeter College. So I used to play against him actually.
right.
So that's kind of where I knew him from. But then got back in touch at Red Star Camp, and I just said, "Look, is there anything going?" And he went, "Actually, we were about to apply. We were about to put a job out tomorrow. So if you want it, we can put your name forward for it." And I was like, "Yeah, great." And within 2, 3 weeks, I was moved in. So it was all kind of, oh, this is happening. Yeah,
Moved
yeah,
out
yeah,
of
yeah.
home and moved into Reading.
Well, yeah, it was all kind of very quick. But no, it's been amazing. Just finished my third year, and yeah, what a year it's been. But I'm sure we'll get on to that.
Because that's a professional setup, isn't it?
Yes, yeah,
From
for
from all the
me,
things I've seen, and I'm not, I haven't been there, I haven't felt it, touched it,
yeah.
unlike you, but from the outside, it looks like a fully professional,
Mhm.
structural, club.
Yeah, so for me, I, I'm a bit biased because I'm in it, obviously, but
Right.
it's one of the bigger programs in the country from top to bottom. There's obviously clubs in the BBL, or sorry, SLB now,
Yeah.
SLB, that are
At the
doing
moment.
doing amazing, amazing things. But like from top to bottom, Rockets is just another level. And whenever I speak to anybody from the Southwest that I know, and they go, "Oh, what's it like?" It's just different. There's no way of explaining it because we've technically got like three parts to the club.
Hmm.
So we've got the community program, which go into schools. We've got our own hubs. We've got our own like CVL league, which is just all our community kids, and that's about 1,000 kids a week, just over,
Right.
just in Reading.
I was going to say,
So,
yeah.
and then we've got obviously like our junior club set up, which is two boys teams and a girls team each age group, from 10s to 18s, which is again another 300 kids. And then obviously alongside that, we've got our men's semi-pro team, women's Division One, wheelchair Prem, wheelchair Div Two. So yeah, it's there's a route all the way through, is the way we like to look at it. You can start a kid at 3 years old, which is our youngest session, and they could end up playing for our men's team, like Lewis Champion, who's a Reading lad who's come back to play for the club.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
If they wanted to, they could go
fantastic
all the way through.
opportunity, yeah, for those there. And it's probably part of my argument with Basketball England, if you like,
Mhm.
that they concentrate a bit on the more elite, if you like, rather than the also rans. But the bigger the pyramid base, the higher your pyramid will go.
Yeah, yeah,
And to me,
definitely.
that's how all good organizations should be as big as possible,
Yeah,
obviously within reason,
yeah,
at
yeah,
the base, and
as much
the
as you
more
can,
opportunity, yeah, the more opportunity up there.
definitely.
So, this is a question for you. Who's your inspiration then in relation to coaching, Jack? Who got you
Oh,
going to begin with, or who you aspiring to be?
well, my first kind of like coaching mentor, I guess you could say, was Gary at Tigers,
Hmm.
who has obviously done some amazing things, gone off to coach in Serbia, and ended up coming back my first year of 18s. So I was part of that team that he came back to and probably
Yeah,
went, well,
yeah.
this isn't quite Red Star Belgrade, guys, is it? No, no, no. Um, so yeah, he was definitely kind of the starting point. Him and Ronnie, because Ronnie came back involved, Ronnie Heath,
Ronnie
who
Heath, yeah,
has done amazing things in Somerset and in the
Somerset.
Southwest. And then I think someone I did look up to, I didn't know him amazingly well, but whenever I did have a chat with him, he was unbelievably kind to me. Was Rick Waldridge down in
Yeah,
Torbay.
yeah.
Was just
That's
amazing.
him.
Like, yeah, exactly. The stuff that he was doing with Churston Ferrers, it was a little bit before my time when it was at its peak, but the stories that I heard, and he was still doing it, was incredible. And now, like, obviously, people that have helped me along the way. So Matt Newby at Red Star, Nick with Wales have all been incredible, and you take bits from all of them. Some of them bits you would do, and some bits I would
Yeah,
go, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Which of course. And then now working with Samit with our Division One team, he is like a basketball wizard. Like he's an absolute genius of the sport. Um, and the success that we've had this year in the men's program is down to him. We've had a very good squad, but he's been amazing. So yeah, kind of a lot of people, I think.
yeah, and you're probably right because you pick up things from everyone, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
you've got yourself to begin with, and then you mold little pieces off. A
Yeah.
piece of that because that fits in with my theory and how I
Mhm.
operate. So,
Yeah.
not saying you're going to move on, but where
Mhm.
are you aiming for, or is the sky the limit ultimately?
I mean, who knows? Who knows really? Like I've always kind of liked the idea of potentially looking at moving abroad at some point, even if it's just for a year or two, to have done it and coach somewhere and maybe come back. Um, but like the thing is, I don't loyalty is quite a big thing for me. So leaving Tigers and stuff in the first place was tough. So now, like for me, there's no club in England that I'd go, yeah, I'd want to be there instead of Reading because I like it's an amazing club. As I've said, it's massive, but it still has that small family feel because it is ran by a family. So
Right.
it's still got that really nice, wholesome feel about it, which is great to be a part of.
I was going to say, and you seem to get on well with with them in relation to
Mhm.
that setup. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, definitely. Well,
understandable.
it's yeah, definitely.
So what's their what are they reaching for? What's Reading Rockets reaching for then? What's their sort of way forward?
Well, I mean, we've always like so Matt Johnson, who is I don't know what his official title is, but he runs the club basically, alongside his dad. He did a podcast with Hoopsfix not that long ago and kind of talked about all of that kind of stuff. Like we'd be open to jumping into the SLB or BBL or whatever it may
Yeah,
merge
whatever
into,
reincarnation it will be next
whatever
year.
whatever
Yeah,
it may be. But we're not going to jeopardize the club. Like we've
which is
got,
good.
as I've said, 1,200 kids. That's more important than whatever we do with a men's team.
Yeah,
It's a lot more important, and it's more important for the community of Reading. Like you look at it recently with the football club in Reading, and that potentially going down the pan, and then someone came in and bought it. The mood of the town has just gone through the roof. So, like, I think programs that are part of the community and have been for years are really important. So, like those decisions aren't for me to make, obviously,
no,
but I think they've always kind of said, yeah, SLB, BBL would be fun, but we're a program that have been in Division One for years and have been pretty consistent in Division One. Um, so we'd like to think that we could do it, but obviously it opens up a lot more things and would cost a lot more money and all of that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
So I mean, you've got to be true to your roots, and that's as an individual and as an organisation. You're right. Community with not just basketball but any sports, etc.
yeah,
It is the main thing because if you've got your community behind you, and you're involved in that community, you're giving yourself that future.
definitely,
Just the same as Reading Rockets are giving those individuals at 3 years old their possible future if they want to go that
yeah,
route. But yeah,
100%.
that community is giving your club, well, not your club, but their club or the club
Yeah,
you
yeah,
for the future. So you've obviously, I suppose I criticise the facilities in this country quite often
yeah,
about what's available, but
yeah.
Reading wise, they're obviously quite sorted with regards to facilities, are they? Or up there doing well, much
I
better than
wouldn't, I wouldn't, I wouldn't go
everyone
that far. I wouldn't go that far. We've always the owner Gary has said since I joined, yeah, we want to get a place of our own. We want to do what Leicester, Newcastle, and Sheffield and all those kind of teams have done because it just brings everything closer to home. Obviously, we've got John Majewski Academy,
expected.
which is where our academy is and where all our junior teams play their games. But there's just not enough hours to fit everybody in there, so we're having to go to different schools all over Reading.
Right.
But then our men's team play at Loddon Valley, which is a leisure centre, but it's really good. We won game day of the year for Division One.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
We're regularly getting 400 or 500 people to a game. Bailey, our MC, running up and down the sidelines, throwing sweets into the crowd and all that good stuff. So there's always ways that we're trying to figure out how can we get more seats in there? How can we do little things to make a difference? So we've now got a stage that goes behind the away team bench with some seats on it for VIPs. We've got a balcony. We've got so we're doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, like a venue of our own, a venue of Rocket's own would be unbelievable. But we as we said, the kids that train down the road at another school are just as important as the ones that train at JMA. So you've got to make everybody feel at home. So we're trying,
And
but just
they've obviously got a fair
not
number of
enough hours
coaches
in the
as well
day.
then. Obviously got a
Sorry.
fair number of coaches your end as well.
Yes, we always need more because
Yep.
we've just finished our trials, so we're still having to turn away kids for our club teams, which is never what you want to do, obviously. So we always need more coaches, but as club teams go in the UK, we've got more coaches than most. Not all full time. Some of them are parents that want to help out, as many clubs are,
Hmm.
and we've just got to do our best to try and help those guys and girls do the best job they can coaching.
So what makes a good coach then?
Oh, wow. Um,
I'm glad
it
you didn't swear then. I thought you were going to. Oh.
no, 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 not quite. It's a tough one. I think it depends massively on what level you're coaching. I was actually having a chat with Matt Johnson the other day about this actually. For me, I think you've got to be you. There's no point. we were saying there's no place where it's ever right to scream or shout at a kid while you're coaching. So you've got to be somewhat calm. Obviously, if you're coaching professionals, it's a different ball game. But I think you've got to be calm, you've got to be caring. You've got to just at the end of the day, whatever you think is right for that kid at that point, you've got to go with it. And if it's not, then you figure that out and it's better for the next kid because nobody's perfect. You could put Greg Popovich in with our under 12s and they'd probably be a lot better, but they wouldn't be perfect.
No,
They wouldn't all come out playing like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. So it's you've just got to do the best you can to give the kids that you have or the players that you have the best situation possible and the best chance to do what they want. So I think I know that's
no,
quite an open way of saying it, but I don't think tactics or technical knowledge really mean a lot when you're coaching younger age groups.
no. It's about their involvement, their enjoyment,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
and that, if you like, that team ethos as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
About the togetherness together. So, what qualities are your best then in relation to coaching? Time to big yourself up now, Jack.
Oh, I'd like to think I'm quite critical of myself,
Hmm.
um, which is tough at points, but helps me through it. Um, I know you're going to find this hard to believe, Carl, being someone who's ref me, but quite calm. Um, so those of you that are listening that I played against or have played with, you'll probably go, "What? Not in." But I think as a coach, I am relatively calm.
I,
Um,
I would say even as players, everyone can put on a persona. So
well, yeah, quite.
I know when I played, people were saying, "I've taken you off because you're out of control." It's like, no, I know exactly where I am.
Yeah,
I'm at that level because the opposition think I'm at that level, but I can step back very quickly
yeah,
if I
yeah,
want to.
yeah. So I think calm on most points, but I'm still very competitive. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think you have to be. It's my way of staying in the game was going to coaching because I knew I was never good enough to play at the level that I'd want to.
Mhm.
Um, so it was my way of kind of moving into that was coaching. So yeah, I think competitive, calm, and critical is the three C's.
Okay.
It's figured out that way. Look, but I think they would be my three kind of points.
And what benefits do you think coaching has brought to you as a person?
Wow. Um, I think it's made me more considerate of others and more caring, as we'll go back to that word as well. But yeah, I think they'd be the main two. I think it's definitely given me something that obviously it's taken me to a different part of the country and different experiences. And luckily this year I was given the chance to coach with Division One, and we've had a good year. So it's given me a lot of opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had before. Um, yeah.
And go on, a really difficult one for you now.
Okay.
Best game you've coached and why?
What was that? Sorry, I
The
missed that one.
best game you've coached and why? What game has stood out that you've coached?
Does it have to be as a head coach or can it be
No,
assistant?
no,
Okay.
just you've been involved in.
I think there's been many this year as an assistant coach, with the Division One men
Hmm.
winning because we won three trophies. So you could take any of those, but one for me was my first year of coaching for Wales. We played against Scotland in the Four Nations, and I may get this a little bit off, but I believe we were down 10 with a minute left and ended up winning. So, or maybe it was a minute 30 or something like that, but
Yeah, up
it was,
against it anyway.
yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, that was probably the big one in Cardiff. The Welsh parents and fans are mental anyway, so it was really really good. It was a great way to finish day one of Four Nations for us and put us into an almost cup final, I guess you could say, against England. So yeah, really really big game.
And you obviously, I mean, it's obvious just from talking to you.
Yeah,
Even here, you can see your enjoyment, how much you get from coaching and how much it
yeah,
gives
yeah.
you. Um, if we're obviously we try in the basketball try to get more officials, more
Mhm.
floor officials, table officials, coaches. Um, what would you say to someone um, if they were thinking about coaching? Because quite often with definitely floor officials. I say to them, even as players,
Yeah,
obviously your game will benefit from being a floor official, and you've
oh,
obviously done
massively.
floor officialing in the past as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Still do a little bit when I can, but
so as a coach, if you were speaking to people and they were umming and ahhing about being a coach, what would you say to
I,
entice them?
I I always speak to, so we've got a number of new coaches this year in Reading, guys that have been away from the game and have decided to come back and all that kind of stuff. And I just say to them, jump into it and just go for it because you being there is better than nobody being there, is the starting point, and doesn't matter if you're great or not to start with. But if you're there, it means that you can impact somebody and just pick up and learn things as you go. I think there's, as I said before, that every club is in need of coaches.
Mhm.
Every league is in need of officials and referees, as I'm sure you know, Carl.
Yeah.
But it's just do your bit to help out because at the end of the day, we all want basketball to be the best it can for us and for the next generation and the kids coming through or whatever it may look like. So just do what you can. If you're a parent and your kid's playing and you're going, oh, I might be able to help out, which is what I had this year, one of my teams, the parents saw what I was doing and went, oh, do you mind if I come down and assist you? And I was like, yes, of course you can. Come on. So I think just jump into it and you'll find there's loads of people that want to help you. There's loads of people that want to help you do what you can. Um, so yeah,
We've had a push on floor officials this year, and one of the
yeah,
pleasant thing we found in relation to floor officials, we've had a lot more female floor officials, which
amazing.
really positive. I mean, we did our first 3PO and table all female this year for a men's
Right.
Division One, which was, you know, a s it wasn't meant to be that way. It was just
Just worked
happened.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really great. Um, I know a couple local female coaches, but I don't see that many female coaches coming in. The I mean, I'm trying to think. In my playing career isn't huge, but I had a couple years ago, but we don't see as many females now. Is that something you see at your end more, or
Not really, which is sad to say. Like, we don't have many female coaches. We have, I don't want to get this number wrong now.
no? That's right.
I think in our club we have about three or four.
Hmm.
So it's not a great number, and we always want it to be more. So we're trying to get our academy girls and our Division One women to come and help, come and do a session, come and do this because it's important for the girls players to have role models to look up to. Because
Yeah, I
as
think
much as
there seems to be a lot more females playing now as well. I mean, we're definitely getting more. I mean, we've been lucky in Exeter and District because we'd had a ladies division for a long time, but now
yeah,
we've
yeah,
managed to
got
get
that plan.
Plymouth have got one going as well now,
Good.
um, and we're stretching Dorset starting now as well. So it looks like, which is great. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a male and female sport. We know that, and sometimes, I mean, if I'm really honest, I prefer coaching females to blokes. Um, Only because they tend to do what you ask them to do and listen to you.
I was just about to say the thing is, if you coach a women's team and you go do this, they go, yeah, all right. If you coach a men's team, they go, but why? Why am I doing that? Just do it. Um, yeah, we found that this year a little bit. But no, the girls program at Rockets has gone from strength to strength in the years that I've been there. As I said, we've got a girls team from under 10s all the way to 18s, two women's teams, one in local league and one in, well, was Division One, just got relegated to Division Two. And then obviously the wheelchair game is mixed, so we have an outlet for everybody to play, which is amazing. Obviously, we'd love more teams and more girls playing, but it's a good starting point. And it's got bigger and bigger as the years have gone on that I've been there anyway.
I do love how you, and you've mentioned it a few times, but I do love how Reading have got wheelchair basketball,
Mm.
obviously included, which is
That's
brilliant.
only a new, it's only a relatively new thing. We just inherited a team that was already playing locally, and Steph, who runs our community program, was playing wheelchair basketball for them, and went, well, "Why don't you just come and be part of our club?" And they were like, "Yeah, great." And they've done really well. They went undefeated last year and moved up to Prem. Had a tougher year this year, obviously in a higher league, but have just been at qualification for Euro Cup and stuff. So yeah, amazing to see. And every time I watch it, I'm stunned. Like
Have you
absolutely
actually tried it? Have you?
yes.
Yeah.
And I
How
didn't last
they?
very long, Carl.
No, nor did I. Not very long at all. I think Jordan come down our way and did
Hmm.
one at Exeter University. It was like, there's the wheelchairs, and we just did up and down a couple of
It's
times, and I
tough.
was couldn't dribble to save my life. I was
Oh,
struggling just to get up and down the court, and how their upper body strength to get a basketball up to the hoop is
yeah.
beyond me. But no, it's something we thinking about in relation to just Exeter and District. Obviously, we've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Rotters up the road. They're always
Yeah.
struggling in relation to officials, table officials, and floor officials. And we were actually thinking maybe reach out to give them
Yeah.
an arm round, if you like, bit of support
Yeah,
on that side, because it's something else they don't have to worry about then. Because
yeah, definitely.
as we know with officials, if you start having to worry about getting officials, I know that floor officials are sorted, but table officials,
It's
yeah,
tough.
not a week goes by without a message from Jack up there to go,
I've not
this
got this.
special
I've not
free.
got. Yeah, yeah. We're the
But
same here. We're the same in Reading with table officials and referees. We're short every week, but it's yeah. You got to find a way around it.
um, the clock's ticking down, Jack. So
Okay,
I obviously want to say thank you very much for joining us.
not a
Um,
problem. Thanks for having me.
is there anything else? It's lovely to have people from our area that's played in our league
Yeah,
who's done well within basketball. You know, not talking about other things, just you know, we have players that have done well. We've
yeah,
floor officials that have done well, table officials that have done well, coaches that have done well. It's absolutely brilliant to get their stories,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's all part of this, just to get a few stories out. And just if little Jack was on the sidelines there and thought about coaching, something he can have a listen to this and see how Jack's got on.
yeah. Definitely.
But
Oh,
is there
great.
anything
Thank
else
you.
you'd like to cover?
Not that I can think of. I mean, as I said to you, I'm happy to do another one if you want. Like, it's just good to chat and share ideas and share thoughts. I think the only thing I would say is if there is any coaches that listen to this that want help or don't know where to start or how do I do this, reach out, whether it's to me or someone else. Because as I said, coaches want to help people. And something that I've tried to do this year is I've been someone at the end of the line for Matt Lohman at Blackhawks and
Hmm.
people like that. So I'm at the end of the phone if anybody needs me or anything that I can help with. And if I don't know the answer, I'm in a nice place where I can find the answer for you because one of the coaches will. So if there's anything that I can help with for any of the clubs, just give me a bell.
That's really good. I mean, like you say, we sadly lost Rick Waldridge, who was there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he was huge
Yeah, he was
in
massive for the
in
Southwest
not just
basket.
coaching circles, basketball circles, completely, and fully supportive of everyone.
Yeah.
Even the floor officials sometimes, which was a bit worrying.
Not
But
very often. I saw him coach.
I'm sure he had his ulterior motive every time he spoke to me.
Yeah.
But no, thank you very much, Jack. Thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll catch up again.
Yeah.
And have a nice break because you're off now for a week, aren't you? So
Yeah, week off, and then back at it. As I said, we've just finished season's finished trials. So now it's kind of ramping back up to the season, I guess.
I was going to say season's finished, which means it's now time to prepare for next season, I would think, and all the
Exactly.
things that go with
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Good luck in Reading. Good luck with your career. But as I say,
Thank you,
we'll
mate.
catch up, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I'll pass across. All right.
See you later, mate.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
time. Take care. Bye.